Do you need to be in Silicon Valley to have a successful tech startup? Coming up. I'm Jay Adelson, and I'm the founder and chairman of Revision 3. I've started and built a number of companies. My goal in this show is to pass on some of the knowledge from my experiences to you, the budding entrepreneurs, and hopefully leave you with some words of wisdom.
This episode of AskJay is brought to you by Netflix.
Today's question comes from Dan in New Zealand, who asks, what's your advice to companies based outside of Silicon Valley or even the United States? How important is the Silicon Valley ecosystem? Dan, that's a great question. I get asked that by entrepreneurs all the time. I'll be traveling and I'll be doing a conference, and a local entrepreneur will come up to me and they'll talk about this as one of their first priorities. Should I move to the Bay Area, to Silicon Valley, in order to get my startup going? I think the answer is no. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I cannot tell you how many investors say that to me, but I'm not hearing a lot of logic behind it. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. You take Detroit. Detroit has some crazy, I think they have a real unemployment rate of like 30% right now. It's the highest in the country. It's really insane. And on the street, you've got an incredible number of unemployed tech professionals who, frankly, out of the automotive industry or out of University of Michigan, incredible talent, and yet, and obviously the cost of living there is, I think the median house price is like $6,000. So the cost of living is lower, the margins would be higher, their expectations on salary would be lower, real estate is cheap. Why wouldn't you do it there? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I hear these horror stories from entrepreneurs from all over the world who talk to VCs in Silicon Valley, and those VCs say to them, yeah, we'll invest in you, but you're going to have to relocate to San Francisco. Well, let me tell you, SimpleGeo was founded in Boulder. You have companies like Urban Airship in Portland. You have, just an incredible array of Rackspace in Texas, all these great tech companies that have started in other places with no direct tie to being located in Silicon Valley. I think it's a myth. I think it's perpetuated by investors who want to be able to drive to a local board meeting versus get on the phone. And the real challenge to doing a tech startup in another location is access to capital. So what you want, of course, is to be able to go into your backyard and raise your money. And the history of Silicon Valley, one of the things that happened here is you get this cluster of investors all around Sand Hill Road in Menlo Park, California. And because they're all here, it's just sort of self-perpetuated, this network effect around startups being in this area. That and Stanford and UC Berkeley being close by. And those are all true. If you happen to be in the Bay Area, you get a benefit. But, if I'm in Detroit, I want to find those local investors if I can find them. It doesn't mean you can't get investment from another city in your local startup. It's definitely worth trying. But when I hear that story about somebody being forced to move for an investment, it makes me cringe because it just doesn't make sense. The margins on the business are so much better if you stay local. For those reasons, I definitely think, Dan, the answer is no, you don't need to be in Silicon Valley. There are some, obviously convenience benefits in raising money, but I definitely think you should try and stay local if you can. In a minute, I'll give you some tips on how to stay local. But first, let me thank our sponsor.
Netflix streams TV shows and movies directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle. As a Netflix Unlimited member, you can instantly watch TV episodes and movies streaming directly to your PC, Mac, or right to your TV with your Xbox 360, PS3, or Nintendo Wii. Watch as many movies as you want, anytime you want. Cancel anytime. Get your free trial membership. Go to www.netflix.com/AskJay and sign up now. Be sure to use this URL so they know we sent you.
So for today's homework assignment, how to stay local. In most of these locations, there are resources for finding capital. I know, like for example, in Michigan, there's a phenomenal program that I'm involved with called Michigan Core, where it really helps entrepreneurs find each other, find resources as one of their many benefits. But in other locations, if you do a little research, you'll find similar organizations. if you're a venture capitalist and you're, say, in a town that isn't known for its tech industry, you better believe you're going to be very willing to hear pitches, and you just want to get your name out there. So just with a little bit of research, you can find them. Now, so definitely do that research as part of your homework assignment. Another thing that I think is absolutely worth doing is filtering your pitches first. So in other words, if you want to stay local and you're raising money for a really great idea, you can send an email to those investors that you want to pitch. But one of the things that in your first conversation on the phone, you can say, hey, before I come out there and pitch your partnership, I want your assurance that you are willing to invest in companies that aren't based in San Francisco or the Bay Area. And I will tell you that if you have that first conversation, it does a couple things. One, it makes you look more confident and actually can help you sell to the investor. But the second piece is it establishes that foothold up front. And I think that by setting that precedent in that first conversation, it doesn't come up again, and you're more likely to succeed in getting investment without that being a pressure point. That's it. Thank you for joining us. Please send us your questions to AskJay@revision3.com or your video responses on the YouTube, on the Ask Jay Adelson channel on YouTube. Want to see your crazy mugs all live? We'll put it here on the show. I'd love to do that. Come on. I mean, it can't be that hard. Maybe webcams don't work well or whatever, but come on, get it done. And then, of course, there's Twitter, @Jay Adelson. But thank you again, and until next time.